Aurora. Do I just walk up to him and say hi? I panic whispered. Alpha Wolfgang was making his way through the crowd toward me. It didn't seem like he had noticed me yet, as many eager people tried to catch his attention. He'll notice you once you get close enough, Rhea told me. I tried to take a step forward, but it felt like my shoes were suddenly filled with lead. What if he doesn't like me? Be brave, Aurora. Mating bonds can be scary, but they're wonderful, Rhea assured me. I took a deep breath and forced one foot in front of the other. It felt like there was a storm of butterflies in my stomach. I got closer and closer, my skin tingling with excitement, and suddenly our eyes locked. It was like the rest of the ball just melted away. It was just the two of us. My heart stopped beating wildly and settled into a deep, steady rhythm. My body filled with warmth. A few more steps, and we stood before each other. He was close enough to touch. His gaze lit a fire within me, one that started in my chest and spread all the way to the very core of me. Hi, I said softly. Crap, was that awkward? What do I do with my hands? It's you, Alpha Wolfgang said, his eyes narrowing. A sense of uncertainty wormed its way into my mind. He didn't exactly sound happy. Before we could continue, a man clapped his hand on the Alpha's shoulder. Wolfgang, there you are. The large man smiled, his cheeks rosy from the alcohol. He turned his gaze to me, and I realized who he was, the Alpha of the Blue Moon Pack. Ah, perfect. Get me another drink, maid. He handed me an empty champagne flute, and I took a step back as he brushed me off. Now, my daughter tells me you've been ignoring her, Wolfgang, he went on. I was told often of the Blood Moon Pack's amazing hospitality. Don't disappoint us now. Tallulah stepped forward, looking dazzling in her dress. I saw her smile seductively at Wolfgang. It filled me with disgust. I heard Rhea growl in my mind, but I held her back. Alpha Wolfgang smiled at her, but it looked forced to me. I wouldn't dream of it, Wolfgang said. He bowed slightly and offered his hand to Tallulah. I stammered, catching their attention. You're still here, girl? The Blue Moon Alpha scoffed. What kind of people do you employ, Wolfgang? Actually, that's not why I'm here, I began. So you're wearing that maid outfit just for fun? Tallulah asked, rolling her eyes. My face burned with embarrassment. I looked at Wolfgang, but his face was impassive, his eyes emotionless. Does he know who I am to him? Do you know this girl, Wolfgang? Tallulah asked, placing her hand on his chest. I was seeing red. This girl was pushing it. I could feel Rhea's fury pushing me on. Tallulah smiled at me, and I knew exactly what I could say to wipe that smirk off her face. I'm actually his maid, Wolfgang interrupted me. He stared daggers at me, and all the anger in me disappeared, replaced by confusion. She's my maid, but that might change, unless she does her job. Rhea, what's happening? I asked. Her reply was a soft whimper. I don't know. Are you just going to stand there, or are you going to get his drink? Wolfgang asked. They didn't even wait for me to answer. They spun away to enjoy the ball like I was some creature not even worth dismissing, leaving me in complete shock. Tears threatened to spill. I felt like everyone was looking at me. They'd seen the whole scene. I was ashamed. I turned and ran as fast as I could, away from the hall, away from the whispers, away from the shame. Aurora, what are you doing? Go after him. There has to be an explanation, my wolf shouted in my head, but I ignored her. I kept running until I was out the front door and in the open garden that led to the gates, but I didn't stop there. I kept going until I reached my home, not caring about my work anymore, or the fact that I was still wearing a uniform. Aurora, is that you? I heard my stepmother call from the living room. I dashed up the stairs and into my bedroom, then slammed the door and threw myself on my bed, hugging my pillow for dear life as I cried my heart out. The room door opened not long after, and Montana came in. I thought the party would have been longer. What happened? I didn't answer her. I just kept crying. Aurora, what's the matter? She asked, concern in her voice. Just leave me alone, I said through the pillow that was pressed to my face. But as usual, she ignored my wishes, and I felt the bed sag as she sat next to me. I felt her cold hand patting my head. There, she said. You shouldn't be crying now, dearie. Not on your birthday. But I know what will cheer you up. I felt her shuffle off the bed. My curiosity got the best of me, so I peeped out from under the pillow and saw her holding out an old envelope for me to take. Here, she said, handing it to me. Your father entrusted me to give this to you once you turned 18. I took the envelope and opened it, revealing a handwritten letter. I recognized my father's handwriting. Montana must have felt that it was a personal moment because she left right away. Dear Rory, I can't imagine how hard it's been for you to keep a good attitude and a tender heart in this harsh world. But I know you'll be a light in the darkness, one who will not give in to negativity. By now, you've surely matured into a capable and beautiful young woman, and any minute now, you might meet your true, one and only love. Do not despair if it does not come right away. Only the moon goddess knows the reason behind her decisions. But if you ever feel angry, hurt, or disappointed, know that even though I'm gone, I'll always be by your side. Don't let your emotions keep you from seeing the blessings that surround you. Ask the moon goddess to allow you to see the world the way your mother and I saw it, and you will become the woman you long to be, a reflection of your parents, to your friends, and your future mate. With all the love in my heart, Dad. I felt like a waterfall once more, but this time they were tears of happiness. Dad was right. There was no use getting upset and crying. It must have been as much of a shock for Alpha Wolfgang as it was for me to find out we were mates. Maybe in time he would come to terms with it. I would just have to be patient.
Wolfgang. What the fuck is wrong with you, kid? Kronos spoke in my consciousness. Not now. I kept my eyes closed as I hung my head low, trying to make sense of everything. The ball was finally over, and I was sitting in my office in the dark. I had to get away from the noise before I broke something. Oh no you don't, you little prick. 9 years I've had to hang around waiting for our mate to appear, and now that she's finally here you run away like a coward, Kronos growled. Man up and go after her. She's hurt. I can feel her pain, he said. A flash of the girl's innocent gray eyes, filled with shock and tears, came into my mind. I suddenly felt ashamed. Maybe I shouldn't have spoken to her that way. I shook my head. And what do you think happens to our fledgling alliance with the Blue Moon? It's obvious that Tallulah wants to become my Luna, I thought to my wolf. Who the fuck cares? Kronos demanded. We should! I shouted out loud, losing my temper. I slammed my fists down onto my desk, cracking the mahogany. No alliance means less warriors. Less warriors means the rogues get through our borders. And do you know what that means? My wolf didn't respond. It means we all fucking die, Kronos. Everyone. You're assuming that having our mate by our side won't help at all, Kronos said. What if she's the difference? Better than a Blue Moon army? I asked. Obviously. I sighed. Kronos wasn't going to drop this, and if I was being honest, of course I wanted a mate. The second I saw her, I wanted to take her in my arms and claim her. She was beautiful. But she had to be good enough. Not for me. For the pack. Well, let's go find out, I said.
Aurora. I woke up to a weird tapping noise. I groaned and checked my phone, the light blinding me for half a second. It was 4 a.m. What the heck was that? Tap, tap, tap! Rhea howled in my mind, causing me to wince in pain. Ouch, Rhea, what the heck was that for? I grumbled, trying to rub the sleep from my eyes. Tap, tap, tap. And what the heck is that noise? It's him, Rhea said. He's outside. What are you— But my voice died down in my throat. All traces of sleepiness disappeared. Alpha Wolfgang was on my roof, standing outside my window, and it looked like he wanted to come in.